Hello and welcome back to Discovering the Heart of Wellbeing. I'm Cathy Fox and today I'm going to be chatting with Norberto Rodriguez and we'll be discussing realization, the spiritual heart, the ego, and his exciting upcoming online event to realize the true self. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so you don't miss my next video. Enjoy! Okay, hi Norberto. Thank you for joining me
Hello,
today.
thank you for the invitation.
So, Norberto is a healer, a very serious life cultivator, teacher, and offers these teachings on life cultivation online, one-to-one, but he also runs a lot of workshops on understanding life and getting to know oneself better. So today we're going to talk about a few things. We'll touch on an upcoming course, 10-week course. We'll talk about the true self and identifying the false self or the ego. And we'll talk a little bit about this documentary that you have been featured in recently. So we had the screening last weekend online. And within the documentary, we learn about your journey towards realization and wisdom. And I'd like to talk about this for a moment because this step in your life cultivation, it's often known by the term enlightenment. And I would like to talk about this auspicious topic because when I heard this happened, that you made this milestone in your cultivation, I myself was like, enlightened, really? What is that? So if you could talk a little bit about that so our viewers can get a better understanding of what that actually means.
It was a special transformation or realization, and the realization was is simple. It's self-realization, realization of yourself. So, what does it mean? It means that through all our lives, we try to create a persona or identifications in things that are not our real identity and our real being. And with that in that process, we create what we call our ego. So ego is our identification, how we identify according to our limitations and understanding of life. The ego has a lot of flaws and a lot of limitations, and because of that identification with this ego, we experience a lot of pain and suffering in life and confusion. So when we identify with this ego, we try to satisfy our basic fundamental needs through the ego. So if we have the need for love that everyone has, is a natural need in human beings, the ego will use his channels to say how I can get that. So the ego will use different tools and different strategies, and will manifest the satisfaction of that need through the desires. But the truth is that when we get those things, the ego feels not satisfied and start to search for other things. It can have some pleasure from some moments, some pleasure that comes from the satisfaction of the desires, but we'll always search for more and more things. And that makes us restless and make us also attached, because during all attached to the things that we think that they will give us the solution for our problems in life. So in this process, we create a lot of connections, we create a lot of actions, and we create a lot of fruits from those actions that can create a very complex network of action, reaction, and that can determine our life, how our life will go. So what happened? We get lost on that. We lose totally ourselves, because those distractions can be so strong that we cannot see anything else than that. So when we forget ourselves, our true essences stop to exist. And our true essence, it's an essence where we experience joy, where we experience happiness, well-being, where we experience love and trust and gratitude and respect and many other things. And also in our true nature, we experience wisdom and clarity in life. So we lost ourselves by letting ourselves being absorbed by the ego. And then the only solution is to find ourselves again, to go back to our true nature. And when we find ourselves, it's like you experience a light in you, and you can see the things more clear. You can see, oh, I will struggle for this thing, but this thing doesn't bring me happiness. Happiness is inside of me. So suddenly it's like everything that you are looking for, you can find it inside of yourself. And you find peace. You don't need to search for more. You don't need to be restless in your life, and you can start to experience your true nature and manifest it in your life. This is, in a very simple way, what the realization of the true self is. When we talk about enlightenment, is a very complex word. And it can have so many different meanings for different cultures and traditions. So it's very complex to say in a very overall, how to say, very like a way that everyone thinks the same. So, but the fundamental thing is that enlightenment is a term that we use when you are able to see yourself, your true self again. So you realize your true self. For the true self, there is no enlightenment, because the true self is already the true self.
Yeah, and this is something I wanted to touch on as well, because when you talked about realizing the true self and coming back to your true nature of, having joy and being healthy and having all your needs, as in, love and openness and respect, having all of those, the source within you. And I imagine there are quite a few people out there who are genuinely happy and full of joy and see the positive things in life. And how would you differentiate if the ego is always trying to deceive the person? How does one know if they're on the right path? Like, how do you know if this joy, if this health and happiness is authentic?
Some people can be happy and joyful. However, some people are on this state when their life is not challenged. If you are able to maintain this state independent of all the things that happen in life, then you really have true joy and true happiness. But if there is such when there is some challenge or some change in our life, you lose that state. So there is something that you still need to work on. But the realization of the true self is not only that; it's much more than that. That the state of happiness and well-being and joy and so on and the manifestation of heart qualities is more a kind of a state, a natural state that happened with that. So there are a lot of people that can experience these states and maintain those states for quite a long time, and even don't have strong attachments to life. This means that people that are like that, they have reached a good level of consciousness, because they are able to detach themselves from many things, and they can let go what needs to go, and they can receive what needs to receive, and they remain as they are. However, when you realize your true self, there is another thing that happens. That is the perception and experience, direct experience of totality. And this is a thing that is really very hard to describe by words. It's a thing that needs to be experienced.
Okay, well, we might save that topic for another day.
Yes.
So can you get into the difference of what life was like before in comparison to what it's like now? Because like, I know you've had a very normal life. You've grown up in Portugal, you went to college, you got your master's degree, you know, you had a good social life. And you followed all the normal social and cultural behaviors. So can you tell us, what was the change? Where did the change come from? When was the turning point?
It was around almost 2.5 years ago. And it was a time when where my life was going through moments of a lot of confusion and challenges. And it was very difficult for me to understand. I had a lot of knowledge, and I studied a lot, and I tried my best to be a good person and to be my best being. But on those times, there were things that I just could not understand them. They were just too much for me, and I didn't know how to do what to do. It was a sensation like, should I do? Should I not do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I not do nothing? What I should do? And there was a lot of confusion of feelings also. So yeah, on those moments there were a lot of temptations coming in.
Can I ask, temptations for what? Temptations to go back to feed your ego, or?
There were temptations to go back to find things on the pleasure, on material things, on the when I say material, can be many type of things, even to go to all the very negative habits, and some habits that when I look now at them, they were kind of self-abuse. Not really self-abuse, but from my perspective right now, were not a manifestation of self-respect. So even to take some actions that were not trying things that I have never tried or done, or even had the thought to do. So there were a lot of things on that mind like that, doing that, and pushing. And I know, no, but this is not the path. But I didn't know how to get out from that, because it was really confused and blurry. And then one moment I was doing a practice, and on that practice I was in the state, is enough for me. I just want to surrender, and it came from a very honest and pure place. And on that moment, I felt a huge amount of freedom and joy and love coming from my chest. Was really big, really huge. And I, I remember I started to cry with joy and happiness. And after that moment was like everything that I was attached and that was causing me suffering. I just say, I don't care anymore. It's not mine. I don't own those things. I need to be attached to those things. Whatever comes will come. Whatever goes will go. So I start to experience that freedom, and I start to experience how to say. I was not having the need to change anything. I was like, things are what they are. That's it. Because sometimes when we look to the things from the ego perspective, we to rotulate the things as good, as bad, as negative or positive, etc. When you see the things as they are in their true nature and state, those things disappear.
So these became your experiences of being in a new state, new level of realization. And can you describe how that is different, how that experience is different to being in the state of the heart that you mentioned earlier? You know, with the joy and the trust and the love, all those natural qualities you referred to being in a natural state of being. What is the difference here?
It is a state that goes beyond those heart qualities. It's a thing that cannot really be understood if we don't experience it.
We're going back to the totality.
Yes. Sometimes it's just it's a state where you just experience peace. That's it. A huge amount of peace and harmony, but also clarity and understanding. It's different from the other state of the heart that you are. You experience the heart and joy and happiness and the heart. But again, those qualities, they can still be, we still have patterns behind that can be stronger than those heart qualities. And the patterns can still cloud them, can still hide that again.
Yeah, I'm glad we've moved on to this, because we've talked about the heart and we've talked about the true self, returning to the true self. And this is the big barrier to realizing the true self, which is the consciousness, the patterns of the consciousness. And, you know, there's this misconception that we need to raise consciousness. But a correction or some kind of better understanding is required there, because it's the consciousness that we need to actually bypass to reach the true self. So can you tell viewers a little bit about the consciousness and the role it plays in life?
The conscious, that the term how we use it in Rentrey, has a lot to is close more to the more mind level of life, and also intellectual and even the neural and brain level of life. Let's say like that. So our brain work by patterns. Our conscious or mind on that level work by patterns. It has some tendencies, and those tendencies manifest in the way how we learn things. And then what happened with that? The brain has a structure. It's meant to save energy. So it does everything for the body to save energy. And processing information makes us to spend a lot of energy. So when we receive information, the brain creates these patterns to process the information in an automatic way without us to think on that. And this is on the physical level, but these patterns can manifest in all levels of life, in the emotions and also in the mental processes and in the intellectual processes. and also how we interact with other humans and the world and with ourselves. So this is what we call conscious in the Rentre. However, this conscious is not our true self. And to work on the conscious, we need to have some big awareness to be able to identify what is going with the conscious and what needs to be changed. And awareness is the quality of the true self. There are a lot of ways to change the conscious, but what most people use to change the conscious is the conscious itself. So, because there is a huge network of patterns inside of our brain, and our conscious is very happy to be in the power, or our ego, it can use his own strategies to change something or apparently change something. But the essence what the conscious is protecting, that is the egotic desires and all the needs, is still there. So we can see, let's say someone is searching for approval. Some people, to search for the approval, can look like very powerful persons and damage the others, even be aggressive. So they say, okay, I have these people under control, they approve me, they respect me, etc. But then they can realize, oh, I'm harming all those people, so I need to change my behavior. So maybe they start to help a lot of people, but they use that help to a lot of people also to have the approval from the others and the respect from the others. So the behavior outside can be changed, and the way how to process some kind of information can be changed, but the essence deep inside is still there. You change the clothes, but you use the same body.
Mm-hmm.
To be able to understand what is on this deep level, we need to have a strong awareness. And the direct way to access to this awareness that comes from the true self is by using our heart. Because we need to enter ourselves in the state the best we can, a special state where our brain, our conscious lose strength. Not only that, when we enter this state of in the heart with love and trust and openness, we also become closer to our true nature. And when we get closer to our true nature, our true self can manifest more easily. So we start to experience, oh, this is how I should feel. And then you see that there is something that makes you to get out from that state and say, oh, what is going on? Something happened. And then you bring back this awareness, and with the awareness, you can see the things. But then the patterns, you need to make a replacement. Because the patterns, if you don't give another option to our conscious, you can repress what was going on, but sooner or later we'll go back to the same. So what you do, you become aware of what is going on, you stop it, and you need to give a new answer to that, new answer to this process. So how you can do it, how you change the pattern. First, we need to have a wider view of the situation and a bigger understanding of the situation in order for us to find a new solution. Again, we need more awareness. And how we can get awareness? By going to the true self, by going through our heart and try to manifest this wisdom that cannot be understood by the intellectual level of life.
I just want to touch on that, the replacement of a pattern. And I think it's really important to highlight this, because in the spiritual world, it's talked a lot about letting go, having no attachment and letting go of things, and letting go of things that no longer serve you. And letting go of pain and trauma. However, what then? You know, it's a thing where, you know, when it is a natural law of the universe, something goes and something else comes in. And when it's working on the patterns, it sounds like it's the same process. Like if you want to clear something and free this from your life, from your consciousness, you do need to put a lot of effort into replacing it with something more uplifting to life.
Yes.
And I think this needs to be understood a lot better for people's work on themselves to be more authentic and to get them where they want to go.
Yes, it's true that people got this information from some high level beings that were in the past, that they say that attachment is the cause of the suffering. So to be able to not have attachment, it needs really a lot of work and a lot of understanding and transformation. But this became some kind of also mainstream in the new days. So the people say, okay, so as long as I don't have attachment, my life will be okay. So in Ranchwell, we have another word for that. It calls a pattern of hiding and avoiding. People pretend, they hide that they are attached, and they think that that is not attached. You can only be detached when you live on your true self. You can have a partial detachment to things, but the true detachment can only be when you reach on your true, when you live on your true self. So when people have an attachment to something, first they need to understand why they have the attachment to that thing. They need to inquire the attachment itself and go to the root of what caused the attachment to that. When they find the root of the attachment, they will understand if there is some need or something that needs to be satisfied. And then they need to have another way to do it, another understanding. They need to investigate, they need to find a solution, or by meditation, or by learning, or having a wider view of life. And of course, connecting the heart will be fundamental to that. Because there will be not any change in life, how to say, there will not be change in life if your heart is not involved. If your heart is not involved, there will be hiding and avoiding.
So I feel like people listening to this will come away with more questions than ever. How do you go about working on all of this? What needs addressing, what needs cultivating, how to work on these patterns, how to work on the heart. It's a huge effort, and a system that we've been working to learn for years. But thankfully, you have an event coming up soon. So would you like to tell our viewers a little bit about it?
Yes, me and Dorrie, another teacher, that is also on the commentary, we decided it was a good idea for us to work together in order to be able to help people in a more efficient way. And we decided to do this course, a 10 sessions course. We're going to do 2 classes a week. And the course is to help people to gain more understanding how to transform themselves and move themselves in the direction to the true self. So we're going to talk about the patterns, we're going to talk about the heart, we're going to talk about how to transform them, we're going to talk about maybe some questions of life, we're going to have some time for questions and answers that people need to do. We're going to do healings and a little bit of practice. We'll not teach practice, but we're going to do practice. And for the people that don't know the system and don't know the technique, they can use the e-learning program, or using also connect with other teachers that are doing online teaching, and they are teaching the methods to do.
And I'll post a lot of links and information in the description below this video.
Yes. Yes.
But the course is called Experiencing the True Self.
Yes.
Which, you know, that's how we have to go about it. We have to work
Yes.
to reach the true self. So we need to start experiencing the magic of it first.
Yes. Well, I will not use the word reach the true self, because the true self is already there.
Oh, I
You don't
like
need to reach
that.
it.
I like that.
You will not. No one will exist without the true self. So.
So really, it's a journey, just simply to go home.
Yeah, it's just a journey to go home, to be able to know who you are, and to be able to experience yourself and your true nature, not the idea that you have about yourself, not the patterns, not the illusions, the attachments, or all those things. Just experience yourself as you are, in your true essence.
Well, I very much look forward to attending.
You are welcome.
So Norberto has a website, purehearttrueself.com, and you can find out more about him and what he offers to the world there. I will put a link to that underneath this video as well, and plenty of resources for you to find your way to your true self.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time, Norberto. It's been fun, and we'll see you again soon.
Yes, see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.